All right, how's everybody doing? It's Hank, DJ, and Ricky back with another Two Birds and a Third football podcast. This is the quarterly review of the NFL, the 2017 NFL season, and DJ is here with our sponsor. Take it away.
Yes, our sponsor for this show is Chief Wahoo. He and the Indians are starting the postseason as almost number one team. So Chief Wahoo is the logo on the Indians hat, which I hope stays. But anyways, go Indians.
But a lot of other people,
in the divisional series.
Just hope you don't run. You guys are playing. Are you guys playing the Yankees?
We're playing the Yankees. Yep. I'm so happy we're playing the Yankees. I did not want to play the Twins. The Twins.
No, don't sleep on the Yankees, though.
Don't sleep on the Yankees.
You don't know.
The Indians have. Real quick, the Indians already went on that tear, that 22-game tear. Actually, if you add up all the wins and losses for the final 40 games, I think they only lost 3 or 4 games.
Damn.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Right. But anyways, let's go on. Ricky, what do we got on the table today?
Okay, so we're going to start off basically, are the Rams the surprise team of this year? Normally, well, basically in terms of our surprise teams, normally there's a surprise team every year. So are the Rams that team this year? Is Oakland in trouble with Derek Carr with him sustaining a back injury, as well as are the two top teams from last year in each of the respective conferences in trouble, and the Cowboys and Patriots? And is KC the team to beat in the NFL? And then we're going to go ahead and go through division by division very quickly to discuss what we think about certain teams and whatnot.
Okay. So
let's go ahead
beginning with the Rams?
Yes. So to do a recap of what's been going on, the Rams have in essence been the hottest team in the NFL right now. Well, other than the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of offense speaking. Mm-hmm. Basically, the Los Angeles Rams have scored almost 35 points a game. Granted, you could say and argue that the only decent foe they defeated was the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas this week. So the question is this Rams team legit or not?
I think that I'm not going to say that Jared Goff is God's gift to quarterbacks, but he runs in a quarterback-friendly system. Sean McVay obviously was an established offensive coordinator with the Washington Redskins. He made Kirk Cousins kind of like the household name he is. Kirk Cousins is not going to get you 10 wins a season, but he is going to throw you over 4,000 yards. Definitely kept that running game going, secured that offensive line, and I do see a lot of last year's Washington Redskins when you come up with a lot of bootlegs, a lot of pulling tight ends to the flats during draws and play action fakes. It's definitely a quarterback friendly system that they have running in LA for the Rams.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, Hank. My thing with this team is that it has the lookings because I know Seattle had a good second half against who are they playing on Sunday night?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Okay, that's not anything major. So I think this division is wide open, and I think let's just put it this way: if the Rams continue this pace where they score over 30 points a game, and Todd Gurley, thank you, drafted in fantasy, he's the new David Johnson. Sorry, Hank.
Gurley.
Anyways, if Todd Gurley stays healthy, if Todd does not stay healthy and he's out, and let's say he gets injured and he's out the rest of the season, they really don't have anything. I think the offensive line is the surprise of the for that team. I think that was one point that I did not think that they would be able to handle in the tough NFC West. They have pretty good defenses there. So I didn't expect them to handle how they did, but they're handling. I think that they're going to go as far as Todd Gurley and that defensive line can take them.
What I will say is this. I would say if they can defeat if they defeat the Seahawks next week or this upcoming week, I'm going to say that the Rams are legit. Now, and I'm not trying to delegitimize their win over Dallas because clearly, like that was a huge statement win but the problem that I have is that the Rams gave up 39 points previous week against the 49ers and then 30 against Dallas, which of course Dallas you would expect them to put up that many points, but to be fair, like ever since week 1 against the Colts, they put up 27. Their opposing teams put up 27, 39, and 30 respectively. So I'm not saying that this Rams defense sucks, but it's just like if they keep up giving this many points, I don't know if this is a sustainable winning formula.
Hey, Ricky, is Donald, was he the guy holding out during preseason?
Yeah, Aaron Donald.
He played though, but yeah.
He's in now? He's playing, right?
Yeah, he legit. Yeah.
So here's the funny part, and this kind of correlates back to the issues with the Raiders' offensive line. Donald Penn holds out, and then their offensive line is crap, and then Donald holds out, and now their defensive line is crap.
But Donald played against Dallas, and they still...
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that they missed training camp.
Okay.
So I think that's a big thing. It's called continuity, and I think that defense is going to shape up here.
Yeah, I think they're going to eventually shape up. I mean, they had a strong win against Dallas, but the thing is, I attribute the Rams beating the Cow. I mean, the Rams played mistake-free football. I mean, that's what you have to play against the Cowboys, but you have to understand that the game really turned once Switzer dropped that punt. If you know what I'm saying. But
because then I told it.
Keep going.
No, because I was going to say, like, if the Cowboys manage to get that, then imagine they score a touchdown on that drive, and then going into the half, assuming if the score stayed constant, it would be 24-9. We're talking a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, but like also you got to keep in mind, I'm not trying to create excuses because obviously the Rams play phenomenal football. But you look at what the Cowboys had, they didn't have Sean Lee, that field general, so clearly the defense was granted to give up a lot of points. And I did say that this was going to be a high-scoring game. But let me just say this. If the Seahawks lose...
I don't consider the Rams to be a surprise team. I thought that they would be 2-2 at this point in the season. But go on, I'll talk about why.
No, but anywho, I was going to say, if the Rams beat Seattle next week, I think that Seattle's in trouble in terms of the division.
I think there's a lot of turmoil.
Yeah.
Right now in Seattle, there's something going on in that locker room.
Also, you need to understand that again, it's still really early. November and December haven't hit, and that's when the Seahawks have been known to pick up a lot of steam.
Yeah, that's what they do. They win. They're just like the Packers.
Yeah, they win a lot. They win in November and December when it really counts. You know.
Yeah.
But my surprise team is the New York Giants. And not surprising for a good reason, surprising for a bad reason, because I happen to pick them to win the division, and at this point in time, 0-4, I don't think that there's a way in which a team can go.
Hey, you can't say that. You can't say that after what the Packers have done in the past.
You can't say that, but statistically, it has never happened.
Didn't the Packers win last 6 games of the season, or was it?
Yeah, but they didn't start out 0-4.
Yeah,
they started pretty damn low. They were below 500 coming into that.
They were.
I think they were
3-6.
They were 3-1 or something like that.
Okay, but that's 10.
They were 3.
Okay, you're gonna tell me that the New York Giants are not gonna win a game?
They'll win a game.
They're gonna win a game. Let me tell you something. If they don't win against the winless Chargers, I think that this Giants team is going to have a tough stretch.
And also,
that's a very tough 0-4 team. The Chargers have had a lot of.
They're both really tough.
They're both tough 0-4 teams.
That's true. That's true.
But let's not sit on the Bills either. 3-1.
Bills,
a team that everyone thought was going to tank.
Hey, real quick, guys. How about that Jaguars pick to win the division? Huh?
They're gonna.
But they're 2-2.
I think they're gonna probably. Aren't they? Wait, isn't everyone in the division 2-2?
No, except the Colts
no,
are 1
so
and
I
3.
mean-
Colts are 1-3.
Yeah.
Well, except for the Colts, obviously.
and aren't
but I
aren't
mean,
aren't the Texans 2-2 as well?
Yes,
Let me
yes.
see. But the point is like that, and again, it is a.
It-
Okay, so anywho, I want to move on
It's a toss up.
to the Oakland. Oh, sorry.
Oh no.
I want to
go
move on to the Oakland Raiders.
Okay.
For those that don't know, Derek Carr got a back injury against the Denver Broncos, and sorry, my cord fell out. Anywho, the Denver Broncos ended up defeating the Oakland Raiders, but mainly, the game was pretty tight, considering it wasn't Denver too. But the point is like, Derek Carr. They said that Derek Carr is most likely going to be out against the Baltimore Ravens. So the question is Oakland in trouble right now?
So,
DJ
I've been
was
watching
not
the
at
past
the game, but he did watch it.
I've been watching the past 2 weeks, both games, and I watched them pretty in depth. It's very alarming what's going on right now, and let's just jump into that offensive line where Donald Penn held out to the last 2 weeks of preseason. And then this is where I kind of go with this. It's going to turn around once they start getting some more continuity, and this is that Donald Penn is a linchpin at this point. And I'll talk about the Derek Carr injury in a second. But there's the Michael Crabtree injury, Donald Penn holding out, not giving the ball to Marshawn. They're throwing the ball
Cooper's
more.
Been playing like crap.
I'm sorry?
I said Amari Cooper's been playing like crap.
That's Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's been doing that since he got into the league. He'll show splashes of great talent, and then he'll disappear in games. He just won't get open.
Oh, okay.
He's got to have Crabtree there. He has to have Crabtree there so that he can so that they double team Crabtree over the middle. He doesn't get double teamed, and he's basically a sideline guy. He's going to do the post corners. He's basically like a Brandon Cooks for the Patriots. But here's my thing on the Derek Carr injury. It's a Tony Romo injury, which is scary, but I don't see Derek Carr being a Tony Romo. I think he's going to come back. He's young. He's been getting injured quite some time. I mean, that's a broken leg now, and now he has it's a fractured vertebrae, or is it not a vertebrae? It's a.
It was something with one of the discs, I thought.
But anyways, he's going to come back in 2 weeks. I think they'll be okay. Baltimore, this is inept at this point. They just don't have any idea. And kudos to Mr. Marty
Moronweg.
Yes. I think Josh feels your sentiment towards him. Very much so. So that's the only thing I think they could be just fine. I don't believe in EJ Manuel. I don't.
Well, let me give you a status report of their division. You got the Chiefs at 4-0. Broncos at 3-1, considering they just got a little bit of a tiebreaker over the Raiders for now because of that division win. And the Raiders are sitting at 2-2. So if I'm the Raiders, I'm a bit concerned considering how well the Chiefs have started off and the Broncos as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and I'm not trying to count out the Raiders by any means because clearly they can pick it up. But if I'm the Raiders, I'm a tad bit concerned considering if you're looking for the division crown because the Chiefs have gotten off to a very hot start.
Yep. But this is pretty reminiscent of last year. The Chiefs got off to another 4-0 start last year, and then stuff happened. Injuries happened. One thing that the Raiders are going through right now, they're going through all their injuries and growing pains, hopefully right now, and that's it. And it's very early, and they can come back from that. It's only the first quarter of the season.
That is true. I mean, again,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But I mean, they've just had They've had 2 really lackluster performances.
Yeah, it's piss poor.
Yeah,
piss poor.
I mean, you gotta be upset as a fan, but at the same time, Jack Del Rio has proven with this team that he can win, and you just gotta hope that Carr comes back in 2 weeks and not 6.
No, it's not going to be 6. I don't see that happening. The 6 weeks was just
a precaution
in case, But I think it's going to be a 2-week thing. That's what everybody's saying right now. The one thing that the Raiders need to do to turn the ship is they cannot be bickering amongst one another. I think they're past that. I think they're a pretty tough team in that sense. Like, they went 12-4 last year, so they know that they can do it.
Mhm.
They know. It's just there's some growing pains right in the beginning, unfortunately.
Yeah, so let's. I want to go ahead and move on to our next topic. That going to be talking about the two top teams from 2016 record-wise. That being in the AFC, New England Patriots that were 14-2 last year, and the Dallas Cowboys who were 13-3 last year. So the Patriots and Cowboys are sitting at 2-2. So I want to first talk about the Cowboys. Talk about the Patriots first. So just to do a recap of where they're sitting. In blowout fashion to the Chiefs. Granted, they started off pretty hot to begin with, the Patriots. Then they end up losing at home 42-27. They go on the road and
They beat the Saints.
They beat the Saints by 16 points, but they allowed the Saints to put up 20 points. The next two games, they allowed their opponents to put up 33 points. Luckily, they were able to defeat the Texans in comeback fashion, which they nearly lost, the Patriots, and the Panthers to beat them on a last-second field goal at home. So if I'm the Patriots, I'm a bit concerned in terms of the defense because I'm not saying Tom Brady can't play well. I'm just saying that when you're looking at this team, Tom Brady and that offense is forced to literally shoot out whoever the opponent they're going against because it looks like the defense isn't holding up their end of the bargain.
You're right.
I also feel as though that currently Brady hasn't been using Brandon Cooks as much as you would think he would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's because he's uncomfortable with using him or because he's a racist. I have no idea. All I can say is hashtag Black Receivers Lives Matter. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. First off, Hank, you gotta give us forewarning before you go and do hot takes like that. Okay, that's a huge hot take.
Okay.
If I'm the Patriots, I think
it was also a joke.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think the Patriots are going to be fine. It's just when I told people this, I don't like the way, and I said before the season even began, I said they're not even going to win they're going to get bounced in the second round of the playoffs. But assuming they get a bye. But anywho, the point I'm trying to make is that like if this defense continues to allow their opponents to put up this amount of points on them, like whether it be 20, 25 into the 30s and possible 40s, I'm a bit worried if I'm the Patriots because what happens if you run into like a high-powered offense? Like I really don't want to say the Steelers because the Steelers really haven't showed off their high-powered offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. But here's the thing. They haven't played one game in their division yet.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
So here's the thing. And they went to Kansas City came to the Patriots. They went to New Orleans. They went to Carolina.
No, Carolina came to them, and so did Houston. They played 3 games at home.
Wow. But that's my thing. That's 6 other games that they have to play against right now, and they have owned that. I think they've lost 1 game maybe each of the last 3 seasons inside their division. So I'm not worried, but like you said, Ricky, that defense is very shaky right now.
I mean,
but
their defense is always shaky. I mean, this is why nobody's hiring Matt Patricia to be their head coach. That's why everyone's been saying for a long time, like, when is Matt Patricia going to be a head coach? And it's just because his defenses aren't really that good. I mean, this isn't. We're not talking about the New England Patriots of 2001 to 2007 anymore. This is an
you're right.
This is an
you're
offensive-minded team now. No longer defense.
Who's on that Patriots defense that besides Hightower maybe?
Patrick Chung,
Malcolm Butler.
Patrick Chung is old.
Patrick,
an old man.
Here's my
Patrick Chung. No, Patrick Chung's been in the league for like 6 years.
I want to bring up a very key point that's going to impact the Patriots down the road. Now, if the Patriots end up going, let's say they go hypothetically, they end
Patrick
up
Chung,
shipping,
Patrick
getting
Chung,
another-
born 1987. He's been in the league for 6 years.
All right, Hank. I was trying to fact check you before I did, but you beat me to it. Still,
Okay, so as I was saying, right, if the Patriots do not get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, they are
Fine,
not
8,
making it to
8.
the Super Bowl. It's plain and simple. And even if they do have home field advantage, I'm still a tad bit concerned with them. I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs, because that would be ridiculous, because they're clearly going to right the ship at some point. But the thing is that if the Patriots do not win home field advantage, they are not going to defend their championship.
No,
Hey,
they
Ricky-
have to shore up that defense. You're right.
Ricky, but once, and this has been a precedent since they've been going on their dynasty for the past decade and a half, almost decade and a half. Oh, yeah, over a decade and a half, yeah. Once you put them down and you don't think that they'll do it, they'll do it.
I'm not saying that they're not going to do it. I just
what I'm
think
saying is, like, when you say if they don't get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, that's something that they'll do.
Well, I mean, if you paid, I
they
think it
can't-
was like,
if they can't get more wins than the Kansas City Chiefs, they won't get home field advantage.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But they've won in New Orleans, which is a pretty hostile environment.
I know,
and then-
but the Saints, you could argue that the Saints have a worse defense than the Patriots do.
That's pretty close.
but
No,
I will. I
know.
want to bring this up, and I understand that. I believe it was. I want to say it was 2 of their championships came when they were the 2nd seed, so I understand that. But the point I'm trying to make is that, like, let's say if they go 12-4 and they don't get that bye week, you know what I mean? Like, that's another issue, because, you know, like, they have not won a championship, or I don't think they've even made it to the Super Bowl if they don't have a bye week. And I'm not trying to say
No, they
can't do it,
have.
because obviously-
They have.
Oh wait, have they? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure they have.
2000,
They won the first Super
2001,
Bowl. They
the
were a
first
wild
Super
card
Bowl,
team.
they were a wild card team.
The first,
The first
Super
Super Bowl they won against the Rams, they're a wild card.
Really? Then why is it say on Wikipedia that they were the 2nd seed?
Because it's Wikipedia, Ricky.
No, actually, he might be, but yeah, he might be right. I
No,
think
they were
Yeah,
not
the
the
it's right.
Steelers.
It said-
The
yes, it was.
Steelers.
Yes, yeah, they
The
were.
Steelers were the 1st seed. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, and then the Patriots were the 2nd seed. Now I'm not sure about, like, going to a Super
Hold on.
Bowl, going from the wild card to the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
the New England Patriots were the 2 seed. The Raiders were the 3rd
Really?
seed. The Dolphins were the 4th seed. The Ravens were the 5th seed. The Jets were the 6th seed.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it just
So my
doesn't.
point is-
It doesn't seem like that because they went 11-5 that season. And like,
But the point- I know-
stereotypically, AFC teams usually have.
What was
like,
the Raiders seed?
They
Was
were
it the
third.
Raiders number
They were-
2?
they were
They were
third.
third.
They were third.
No,
Okay.
no. There's no way the Raiders could have been third because that game was played in that the Tuck Rule game was played in
Yeah.
New England.
You're right.
No, they were the 3rd seed because they were the highest seed that won in the wild
In the
card.
wild
So
card.
the highest seed faces the 2nd seed, and that's where the Tuck Rule game was played.
So
But-
I think what
yeah.
we're trying to say here is basically the Patriots'
If they
defense is shitty right now. Their offense is saving them. Now, the thing is, though, they're going to be fine. They've
yeah, they're going to
I
be
know,
fine.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
They're
they've
gonna be
proved to
fine.
us over and over and over again any type of amount of concern or deficit they can overcome. Hence the 28-3 or 28.
I understand. And I hate to keep saying the same point because I feel like I'm like a broken record, but I'll end on this point. The thing I'm trying to say is that if the Patriots do not get a bye week, they're most likely not going to get to the Super Bowl. And I'm not trying to say they can't, because clearly they can't, because apparently they could come down from 28-3 with that much time left on the clock, and they can definitely do anything. But it becomes so much harder for them because they have to go through a very experienced playoff team as well. So again, that's what I personally believe.
Yeah,
But-
I think that any piece of adversity that they have, they always get by it. I mean, even since the beginning, down 0-2 during the season, Tom Brady becomes the starting quarterback, goes 11-5, goes to the Super Bowl, wins the Super Bowl. They get caught for Spygate week 1 of the 2007 season. They end up going 16-0. They end up going 18-0. They lose the Super Bowl, but that's still such a large feat. And then the whole Deflategate thing. Then Tom Brady is suspended for 4 games, and then they win the Super Bowl. So
I will say this, and I think we definitely need to move on to the other team, that being the Dallas Cowboys. So okay, so the Dallas Cowboys, they're also sitting at 2-2. They ended up they started out really hot, going on an 11-game winning streak, franchise record set, and they ended up getting cold, and they ended up pretty much losing in the playoffs, in my opinion, because of that. Granted, they lost over the last second field goal, which barely went in.
Yeah.
But looking at this Cowboys team, I feel like they're having a lot of growing pains, considering I believe they're one of the youngest teams in the NFL, aside from some players. But I mean, like, they're clearly the youngest team, one of the younger teams in the NFL, and I think they're experiencing some growing pains. So, I mean, I'm not surprised, and I even predicted they were going to start off pretty rough at 3-2. I did predict an 11-5 record. So, I mean, I'm not surprised by any means of the slow start. But what really surprises me is when I look at their wins. So their 2 wins were pretty, you could argue, in decisive fashion. 19-3 against the Giants and 28-17 against the Cardinals. Their 2 wins. As for their 2 losses, one was just an embarrassing defeat by the hand of the Denver Broncos, and the other one you could argue is another embarrassing defeat, but it became close, and they had one more drive in them to win the game.
To me,
so I mean,
you throw that Denver game, you crumple that Denver game up and you throw it in the trash, because Denver is gonna. Besides maybe division opponents, Denver's gonna embarrass anyone they play in Denver.
Yeah.
It's that. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, the only teams that will I feel like have a chance of beating Denver in Denver are the Chargers. Well, the Raiders not anymore, and then the Chiefs. Those are the only teams I can see winning in Denver.
Sorry, I want to bring up this point, because this is what's weird about the Cowboys. Like, clearly with the Patriots, we see a common problem with the defense. Yeah, you could say that about the Cowboys, but the problem, here's the thing. The Cowboys gave up 3 points to the Giants, understandably. Then they gave up 42 points against the Broncos, 17 against Arizona, and then 35 against the Rams. Again, the outside of the Denver game, I mean, the Rams one you could say was a forecoming because of Sean Lee being out. But what's weird is that this Cowboys team has not yet shown a consistency. So I'm not sure when we're going to see it. But again, it is the first 4 games, so we're still not sure. Like, for all we know, this team could end up going hot and then going 12-4, winning the division. And with the Eagles, they could start off hot and then they could end up going cold. Who knows?
The Eagles have a history. Last year they were 3-1. Obviously 3-1. The Eagles were a different type of 3-1, but you also have to understand that the Eagles have an easier schedule.
I'm not saying that. I completely understand. I mean, the Cowboys going 2-2, considering how the schedule had gotten progressively tougher.
Yeah.
Normally, when you look at a schedule, it's going to get either progressively tougher or progressively weaker.
Easy, yeah.
The Cowboys schedule got tougher. So I mean, being 2-2 with the hard schedule they had is actually a pretty impressive job by the Cowboys so far. I mean, considering how young they are.
I think that I agree with you, but I think that the more impressive 2-2 record is the Washington Redskins, but we're not really talking about them right now. But
obviously, but
the thing is that I will go right back to that Ryan Switzer muffed punt, because he should not have tried to return that. He should have fair caught it, made a smart move, and I think you see a different game if he doesn't do that. I mean, we can play what if, but the best I'm making up this quote, but the difference between the best team in the NFL and the worst team in the NFL is like something like 12 plays, like 12 big plays or something like that. You know? So, I mean, you want to get the right amount of big plays, but you don't want to, you you don't want to make mistakes that will allow you to relinquish a lead.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, like it clearly, and I hate to keep DJ out of the conversation, but I'll make this last point before I move on to to what he has to say. When it comes to a team, you're either gonna have three things happen. You're gonna most likely have a lot of one possession games. You're gonna have a team that wins a ton of one possession games or all of them, which were the Cowboys last year. You're gonna have a team that loses half of your one possession games or a majority, or it's kind of like that middle ground, the gray area. And then you're gonna have a team that loses all of the close games. And I mean, the Cowboys pretty much showed that perfectly with the 2015 season when they went 4-12. Granted, all those are injuries and whatever, but they were in most of those games, and those were an example of them losing all of them games.
Yeah.
And then 2016 is the complete polar opposite, and then like the 8-8, 11-5, and whatever is just a mix of the two.
Yeah.
I
can't. I'm gonna let DJ talk because we've been leaving him out too.
Yeah, I feel bad because
DJ, what do you think about the Dallas Cowboys?
Cowgirls.
Ooh.
I'm so sorry.
At least you got 2 wins.
Hey, we're not at that point yet. We're not going to discuss that. All right,
we're not going to discuss it. We're not going to discuss that till the end.
Okay. Here's my thing with the Cowboys. Sean Lee's the linchpin. If Sean Lee is not on that defense, you guys have probably one of the worst defenses out there because you guys are so susceptible over the middle and over the run as well. If he's not in, I don't feel like you guys – I feel like you guys are always trying to – oh, crap, we got to score points. You start throwing the ball. There's been a couple situations where Zeke hasn't gotten the carries where he's – in a few games. He hasn't gotten enough carries, and that ended up with the loss. I feel that they're going to be just fine. Dak Prescott is a hell of a leader. He's already righting the ship. He's a captain. The offensive line's great still. You guys have great receivers, great rapport. Although Dez Bryant seems to be taking a back seat to Cole Beasley. Anybody notice that?
I think it's just the way the offense works now.
You mean he's been taking a seat to Butler?
Oh yeah.
I feel Butler's done way more than Dez has.
My question to you, Ricky, do you trade Dez for a high?
No.
Hold on. You guys have no defense right now.
No. I'm gonna explain why you don't, and here's why. When you have,
let me finish real quick on. So, you trade Dez Bryant either for draft picks or you trade him upright for a safety. Actually, you guys need a safety. You guys have been beaten deep pretty consistently, and a safety that would come crash heads. Now, what safety? What safety would you want?
I don't want to trade. No, here's why you don't trade Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
Because Dez Bryant, when you look at the Cowboys offense, they have arguably one of the most balanced wide receiver cores, and here's why. And I'm not trying to be a homer. You have a solid number one receiver in Dez Bryant that is an end zone threat, literally. And I understand that he is an older player, but you can literally throw it up to him and he'll make plays. And then you have a solid number two in Terrence Williams. Then you have your slot receivers and Cole Beasley, and of course you have your mixes and whatnot. Like of course you have your Bryce Butlers and whatnot. What Dez does is he allows the rest of the receivers to get involved. Well, at the same, I mean, he had almost a 100-yard receiving game against the Rams. And
yeah, but that did again. The defense isn't up to snuff right now.
The issue is, I mean, they're not gonna trade Dez for a few reasons. Number one, he's currently a Dallas icon. Number two, he's too important to the organization at this point in time to get rid of him. Number three, Dallas would suck without him.
Okay, but understand, you guys need some serious help on the defensive side right now.
I understand that.
So, but what wins championships? Dez Bryant doesn't win championships. Defense wins championships.
But no, offense wins you games though.
But
how can you
But that's same with defense. They stop the people from getting in the end zone.
You can make the same argument for offense, and I'm not trying to.
No, you're right. You're right. But a field goal kicker can win the game for you if you have a stellar defense.
But then, how are you going to put the points on the board to allow that? You know what I'm trying to say?
But at the same
Well,
at
yeah,
the same
I get
time,
that, but-
at the same time, the middle of the season, it's not the best time to trade for players because they might.
You're right.
Because we all know Dallas's history of trading players mid-season. I mean, they traded for Roy Williams mid-season, and they ended up getting rid of him the next season. So I don't unless it's like unless you are on like the bottom of the barrel and your head coach needs to be saved, because I don't think Jason Garrett is in trouble. Jason Garrett has had a losing season before. He's the coach of the year last year. Now I think he's more I don't respect him as much as his coordinators, but he's at least a decent game manager.
Yeah,
Jason Garrett's
Hank,
career
I'm just
isn't in
saying this
trouble.
just to be. There needs to be something that needs to happen. So I'm not. Again, this is obviously like a hot take in that sense, where obviously they're not going to trade Des Bryant. But what I'm saying is, get some draft picks, because you guys are going to be up at the very end of each draft for the next few odd years. Yeah. So how you're going to have to pick and choose who you're going to get with your new guys from the draft.
Time,
but if you can stockpile some stuff.
Their defensive maybe
the Browns
injured.
Can give you those 2 picks that they can't use in this upcoming draft.
The issue with the Cowboys DBs is that they're very injury prone right now. They've got a lot of talent, like Jordan Lewis, Chidobe Awuzie, but they're injured. Mm-hmm. They've got Chidobe has a hamstring injury. They've just got a lot of injuries. And
I understand that, man, but injury prone players are almost just as bad players because they're not on the field.
But look, I will tell you this: if the Cowboys trade for a player, that shows something's up with Jason Garrett.
Well, yeah, no, you don't trade for a player; you trade for the picks. Stockpile of picks.
Look, my thing is with Des Bryant, and I don't know why people want to now say, like, oh, look at him, he's not producing X amount of numbers. Well, if you look at how the offense is run now, they're not. He's the number one option, but when you have the quarterback like Dak is, he's going to throw it to whoever is open. He's not going to throw it and force it to Des, which he has been doing most recently. But I will say this: I'm not saying they're probably not going to trade him. Let's be honest. I mean, not only that, because the contract he has is very big.
You're right.
So I mean, like, you would have to be an idiot to take Des Bryant's contract.
Yeah,
considering
it would be damaging. It would have to be a team that's got a ton of cap space. You know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's move. I think we spent way too much time on this topic. Let's move on. Let's move on to the Kansas City Chiefs, the only undefeated team. So, just to recap, the Chiefs right now, undefeated team, the only undefeated team in football right now. They won against the Redskins in a very close one. I mean, you could argue the Redskins should have won that game.
Yeah.
Because of Dotson.
Josh Dotson
muffing up,
dropping that pass.
Yeah. So, but regardless, I mean, the Chiefs have they started off to a relatively good start. I mean, they annihilate the Patriots in New England. They narrowly,
they win it. On the stat sheet, they win a close one against the Eagles, but. I mean, it was close
but
at the beginning of the
it was
27-13.
Yeah. Until the end. But I'm not trying to underrate what the Eagles did.
Oh no, but like we totally lost it in the fourth quarter. And then they beat the Chargers. The game was tied 13-all, and then Hunt just goes wild and runs a touchdown. And then they win this game down 10-0, and then they end up getting the lead. The score's 17-17. The Redskins are unable to score a touchdown. Or no, it's 20-17. I
Yeah.
forget. And then they
I,
kick it.
yeah, it's
yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the question is are the Chiefs the best team in football right now?
No.
Okay,
They're not.
like when you say the best team in football,
or are they the team to beat right now?
it depends where.
I guess that's
it
the
depends
question.
on where they're playing.
That I agree with.
Okay.
If it's at home,
I mean,
I don't think they're gonna lose any games at home.
Let's say it's Pittsburgh.
You say Pittsburgh.
So I believe
I can see them losing against the Texans.
Huh. What do you have to
So
say?
what's this about Deshaun Watson right now?
Wait, what was that?
I know
I'm
he
sorry.
put up 57 points. So everyone high on Deshaun.
I don't know what you just said.
Are you a Deshaun Watson fan?
I don't. Do you hear me?
No, you're phasing out.
I'm literally asking the question why. Can you hear me?
You're like
Hello?
going in and yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Say
Basically,
something. Yeah.
I'm just asking the question: why is everybody so high on Deshaun Watson?
Oh, he's asking why.
Why is everyone so high? I mean, people are high on Deshaun Watson because he's producing. I mean, you can look back at. I mean, why he's for the same reason why people were high on Carson Wentz to begin the season last year. The same reason why people were high on Dak Prescott last season. I mean, when you have a rookie that goes in and does exciting things and produces, they're gonna get that media attention. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, even Cam Newton, who's the Panthers went like 6-10 his rookie season, and he still threw like 21 touchdowns in his rookie season or something. It that just happens. What I've noticed is that just happens to rookie quarterbacks, and there's nothing really you can do about it. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Deshaun Watson, but I was impressed with the way that he played against the Patriots. Yeah, if you saw how he played against the New England Patriots, I mean, he didn't play flawlessly, but he played decently.
He played good enough to win the game.
I'm just waiting until like that offense takes. I mean, they have such a great receiving core.
Yeah.
And the Lamar Miller, and then if that offensive line, I mean, he was basically put into a situation where they just need a competent quarterback, and sure enough,
they have it.
So, I feel that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go the same way they did last year. That, you know what, they might make a push to the AFC Championship game. Will they get over the hump? I don't think so.
Who knows?
I think
it depends on the matchup.
Well, I know, but here, let's put it this way: we have, with the Raiders are full health, at the end of the season, and they're all in unison with one another. And you got the Patriots, maybe figure out the thing on the defensive side. I'd pick both of those teams over the Kansas City Chiefs. I love Alex Smith. I've always been a fan of that guy. Even Andy Reid I've been a fan of. So I hate wishing this, or not wishing. I hate seeing this, what might happen. But it's these two guys, Alex Smith and Andy Reid, can't get over the NFC AFC Championship hunt, whatever it is. Like, I mean, they might get to the Super Bowl, but then they don't. They're two guys that haven't fulfilled, basically. They're both on the same team.
I will say this: if they face a team, like let's say hypothetically, because I was gonna say if the playoffs were to end today, right? Let's just say this holds. Okay. Kansas City would be the 1 seed, and then let's say they go up against the team. Let's say the Jacksonville Jaguars make it to the playoffs and they lose to Oakland or whatever, right? So Oakland technically would be the 6th seed, so they would go up against Kansas City. I would take Kansas City in that matchup because I have yet to see Oakland beat Kansas City because they got swept last year by Kansas City, if I'm right.
You also have to understand. You also have to understand that when it comes to a game-to-game thing, as the season goes on, it's harder and harder to keep that perfect record. You know,
That is true. So I think they're probably going to drop a
you'll
game.
slowly start to see the team slip. I could see the Chiefs doing something like 12-4.
Yeah,
don't
normally
see
you want to
them
get rid of
losing
the
that many
pressure. I mean,
games.
like it. Yeah.
And it also depends on where they're playing. Like if they were to go to Denver, I think they would lose in Denver.
Oh yeah.
That's just me though. You know.
Mm-hmm. So I want to kind of change gears to like what the NFL looks like if the playoffs were to start right now at the quarter. You know, and we're just gonna hear our thoughts and like. So we're gonna start out in the AFC. So if the playoffs were to start right now, keep in mind it's just 4 games. So again, this is completely subject to change. Kansas City holds the number 1 seed. Buffalo Bills, interestingly enough, hold the 2 seed. Pittsburgh holds the 3 seed, and Jacksonville would hold the 4 seed, as those 4 being your division winners, with the wild cards being Denver and Oakland. Now, with no surprise, the Browns are 0-4.
Hey, we're not discussing that yet.
I'm just joking. No, but I think the biggest surprise for me, and you could say, well, it's the New England Patriots because they're starting out 2-2. I think the biggest surprise for me is I would say, I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest surprise to me out of all of this is probably a tie between Jacksonville and Houston, mainly because I didn't expect them to be as explosive. Well, of course, Houston kind of came along in and of itself. But,
but
I don't know. What do you guys
think? At the same time, I still consider Jacksonville to be widely ineffective at points in time. I mean, especially because they could have won that game on Sunday. I'm going to tell you something. I was pissed off on Sunday, okay?
Why?
Pissed off at the Jacksonville Jaguars because they couldn't put that game away, and because the bar that I went to, I'm not used to late games, because I'm not used to the late games because like my team is always playing the morning game, and like they don't, at the bar I go to, they don't give away the TV until all the games are over for some really dumb reason. And it's not Mike's place, it's the place I live.
Oh, okay,
I want to mention that.
But
shut
like,
your mouth and talk about Mike's place.
No, I would never talk badly about Mike's place. But before I finish, like it just pissed me off because they were just like, oh, we can't change this game because there's one Jets fan watching it.
Dude, that happened to me at Buffalo Wild Wings. I swear to God. Like, we only had one Steelers fan at the bar, and she was screaming and yelling with the game on. But there was, like, literally a watch party of Dallas Cowboys. There was, like, at least 10 Cowboys fans there watching the game.
No, but
yeah,
there
you know what?
was
As a Browns fan, just don't let me.
What's up?
I don't.
They said, "Oh no, we can't. We don't get that game."
But like, this 49ers fan was getting pissed off because she was like, "I am going to cut somebody if they don't change this game." And the guy was like, "There's still one Jets fan watching the game." And we were like,
I would have been like, let's just sacrifice that Jets fan, because I'll be honest, we got like, and I hate that so freaking much when it comes to businesses. It's like, okay, you want to cater to your Patriots, then guess what? If you have 15 Cowboys fans and one Steeler fan, unless you just did not pass first grade, I think 15 is more than one. So clearly you should show that game. Also, that game is a much more popular game, and it was a much more better game than that dumb Pittsburgh Ravens game. And consider the
Hey.
What?
It's a great game.
No, what?
No,
Are you
it
kidding me?
It's a division game.
I think.
But it was a snooze fest.
This is coming from a guy who doesn't get his games put on because he's a Browns fan. I go in there.
Yeah, but the Browns
look. Can I get the Browns? Can I get the Browns game on? And they're like, "Oh no, we don't get that game."
Yeah, because the
you have the Sunday ticket.
I know.
Hey,
that's like.
Are we gonna have to have this conversation right now?
About the
Browns.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, sorry about
but
that.
are we
okay,
done?
so
Are
let's
we
move over
done
to-
talking about the? Oh,
And we'll talk about the NFC, and then we're done.
okay.
And then we're going to go to game predictions. I apologize.
Okay.
So in the NFC, would be the first seed if the playoffs ended today. They would be they would be number 1 seed. Detroit would be number 2. Los Angeles Rams would be number 3, and the Carolina Panthers would be number 4 because I think because of a tiebreaker. And as for the Atlanta Falcons, I don't think that's right. Okay, I don't think that's right.
I think
they gotta
no.
fix it.
It's really too close to call right now.
Okay. I'll just put it this way. Okay, whatever. Carolina and Atlanta would make the playoffs, and Green Bay would make the playoffs. Basically, the NFC playoffs are at 3-1 right now, or if they're all 3-1. The
Mhm.
Cowboys are sitting at 2-2, because someone asked. Basically, everyone that's 3-1 in the NFC is in the playoffs. Well, if the playoffs are then right now.
Yeah, but I don't like to.
So-
I don't like to think about it like that. Obviously, we have the Rams being a surprise, and the Giants being a surprise, like in a bad way. But I don't really see any other. I don't really see any other real surprises. Besides the Niners, I
Mhm.
did not have them going 0-4.
I think what surprised me was the Giants, like you said early on, because it's like, and I will say this, the Giants for the last 2 weeks had very high competitive games at the end
Uh-huh.
where they could have won, but they lost off of game-winning field goals. But I will say, but in all honesty, the Giants shouldn't have been in those situations to begin with, considering how apparently good their defense is.
You mean their
So,
but
I
you
don't-
mean their offense?
Oh yeah, obviously.
They can't. The Giants can't start games.
All right, guys, let's move on to the
All right, let's go to-
divisions.
sorry.
Let's go through the
All right.
divisions real quick.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, crap.
let's start out with the NFC West right now. NFC West.
Okay, NFC West currently the Rams have sole possession of first with 3-1. You got 2 teams at 2-2 in Seattle and Arizona, and you got 1 team that's 0-4.
All right.
and
So who do you think? Who takes that? I think the Rams.
right now I would say the Rams, but if the Rams lose to Seattle, I'm going to take Seattle. It's just a matter
I
of the.
see. I think the Rams offense right now is much better than the Seahawks offense is, and I that defense on the Seahawks is hurt still. I'm gonna place it like this. I'm really sold on the Rams right now because I have Todd Gurley, so I'm really trying to push that fact. So we're going we're going the Rams. We're going the Rams, and I got Seattle, Arizona.
And the Niners.
And the Niners. I think he cut out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that Niners at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go to the South. I'm going to do these very quickly so we can get to our game picks. NFC South, you have 2 3-1 teams. It's technically the Atlanta Falcons have the lead for the division because they have a better conference record at 3-0. The Panthers are sitting at 3-1 in second place, and you have a 2-1 team in the Buccaneers, granted because they had the Week 1 bye because of Hurricane Irma. And then you have the New Orleans Saints at 2-2. So I mean,
That's going to be that division right there is going to be one of the more competitive divisions.
especially the NFC North. This I think is going to be the most competitive in my opinion. But here,
Yeah. I
sorry,
agree.
give me a second. Okay,
You have
the
the
Detroit
Lions
Lions
at
leading.
3-1, right?
Oh yeah, the Detroit Lions are leading at 3-1. You got Green Bay at 3-1, and then you have Minnesota at 2-2 and Chicago at 1-3. I mean, those 3 teams are probably going to
Minnesota
beat up
takes,
on one another.
Minnesota takes a huge dip because you don't know when Sam Bradford's getting back and Dalvin Cook is injured. So
Yeah,
they're
the
basically
Minnesota
back,
Vikings.
they're basically back to last
Yeah.
year, besides the fact that Stephon Diggs is a beast.
Well, at least
Yeah.
they have Latavius Murray
Yeah, that's
as
true.
backup.
Yeah, that was a surefire pick up there. But yeah, they're going to finish right where the Bears are actually going to jump them to third place.
Yeah, probably.
You
I mean,
think?
okay, so the NFC East, you got a 3-1 team and 2-2 teams, and then so literally it's a carbon copy of the NFC West. I mean, but then
Where
again,
do the Giants end up? I think that's a good question. Where do you think they end up?
I think that if there's
I
They-
think
they-
I
I
think
think
they
they
end
end
up
up 6
I
and
think
10.
they end up anywhere between 6 and 10 or 7 and 9.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Because at some point, because what's going to happen is that eventually teams are going to let their guard down to this New York Giants team because they're like, oh, it's just an 0-4 team, don't worry, and then they're going to end up losing.
Yeah,
So-
I don't. I mean, looking at the statistics now, like statistics aren't always right, but an 0-4 team has never made it to the
Made the
playoffs in any way, shape, or form. Even a team that went 7-9-1 or 7-8-1 in the Carolina Panthers, they weren't even 0-4. Even the 7-9 Seattle Seahawks, they weren't 0-4. Even the 8-8
Yeah.
San Diego Chargers, they weren't even 0-4. So that's just something that you have to think of. I think that they'll pick up some steam in late October, early November, but then I think they're gonna lose it in December.
Okay.
Okay, let's
So
move over to
let's
the
go
AFC
AFC.
very quickly. Okay, let's start with the easy one. AFC East, you got the Buffalo Bills at 3-1, and then you have the New York Jets and Patriots at 2-2 apiece, and then you have the Miami Dolphins at 1-2. I think the biggest, I'll be honest, the Bills are going to lose steam at some point, and New England's just going to catch them. It's just a matter of time.
I think Miami.
Yeah, it's just inevitable.
I think
It's just like
I think Miami is the. I mean, I still think they're going to be last place, but they're going to be interesting to watch because it seems like they're now going to be missing.
They're gonna be the
Ryan
heartbreakers.
Tannehill.
they're gonna destroy someone's season at the end of the year.
Yeah.
The Patriots, no, I'm playing.
Oh.
the
All right, let's
Browns.
move on to the
no.
AFC West.
Okay, AFC West. Okay, 4-0 team, 3-1 team, 2-2 team, and 0-4 team. So competitive, and it's going to be interesting to see how that division turns out. It's probably going to be like another situation like the NFC North, or the teams are just going to beat up on one another. Well, you could argue that could be the AFC South.
Yeah.
but
I think-
the point still stands. They're going to beat up on one another.
Where do you think everybody ends up, though? I think that's a hell of a question. I personally believe, I still feel that the Raiders are going to come back and win this division. I think that the Broncos are going to be good in the beginning, but they're going to start catching on to what Trevor Siemian does. This happened last year, too. He was good in the first couple games, and then once defenses started to figure him out, it was all over.
Yeah, I think I had the Chiefs and the Raiders making the playoffs, but like if the trend continues and considering that Carr might be out, I might see the Chiefs winning. I think I had the Chiefs going like 11-5 or 12-4. So I mean they can win the division with that record. Same with Oakland, but yeah, I just think Denver's eventually gonna fall. Oop. Sorry about that.
AFC South.
There's 3 2-2 teams, and then the Indianapolis Colts are 1-3. So I mean, this is definitely. I think like whoever wins this division, it's going to come down to like the last game.
It could the division winner could be 8-8, 9-7. I've been very disappointed. I've been very disappointed with the Tennessee Titans. I thought that they were going to be a lot better.
That's the biggest disappointment. Biggest disappointment of the year so far.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I have Marcus Mariota as my fantasy quarterback in one league, and I think this week I'm either starting Jared Goff or Phillip Rivers, but it's like I haven't seen a lot of their games, but look, I mean, you're expecting them to have a competitive game against the Houston Texans, and you look at your fantasy app and they're losing 21-0, and Marcus Mariota's already thrown 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown. So
yeah,
so
it's starting to
let's move on
stack
the
up against for that team
And
right now.
then AFC North, Pittsburgh leads at 3-1.
AFC North.
Yeah. Pittsburgh leads at 3-1 after defeating Baltimore. They dropped to 2-2. Then you got the Bungles at 1-3, and then the Cleveland trash bins at
Okay.
0-4.
Okay.
The
All
factory
right,
of
hold on.
sadness rides again.
Hey, now this is why I did this division for last, because I wanted to go in just a little bit in depth because I wanted to talk about this. I'm not worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not worried about the Bengals. I'm more intrigued in the Browns right now. Start off with the Ravens. The Ravens have an inept offense. They have a decent defense. 2-2 right now. I think they could turn. They do have some offensive weapons, and they just need to kind of take their head out of their ass. This is going to come up this week against the Raiders because the Raiders they have a win last week, but still not sold on it.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the Ravens, it's all I said it when Trestman was fired and Marty Morenweg, because he's a moron and he doesn't know how to run an offense. Like, here's the thing. This guy was a failed head coach with the Detroit Lions, only head coach in history when he won the coin toss in overtime to pick to defer in an era where if you got the ball first, chances are you were probably going to win the game. And then he was a failed offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Andy Reid had to take away his play calling duties many times. If you look through, but the thing is, if you look at that time, you're not even sure who was calling the plays and who was taking the play calling away from who. And then he became the Jets offensive coordinator with Rex Ryan as the head coach. And he even went on to say that the reason why we're not running the ball is because we're not winning the game in the first half. And then then he became the quarterback's coach of the Ravens. And then obviously because of his connections, because of John Harbaugh's Philadelphia Eagles connections, he gets hired to be the offensive coordinator. I'm going to say something. Joe Flacco, he's not the greatest quarterback in the world. He's a great game manager, and I respect everything that he's done. But and he's shown success. You know, he's had successful seasons. But the big issue is the fact that he's got a Poindexter running the offense. He's got a stooge running the offense.
And that offensive line losing Yonda, it's not looking good right now. That was a huge loss for them, and now he doesn't have time to throw the ball, and he's not the most athletic quarterback, so he's a statue. He ain't moving very fast.
Yeah.
And so I feel that the Ravens, it's just they've got to get it all worked out somehow.
Yeah.
And this to my team, the Browns.
The living factory of sadness.
Oh, no.
Man, I was so high on this team. I'm like, man, we're gonna go 7-9, 9-7 on a good time. No, Jesus. Now I'm looking at damn 0-16. Hopefully, we can win 2 games this year. I can't believe what I'm seeing on the field. All these drop passes. Kenny Britt drops passes. Been dropping passes since he was on the Titans. I know you guys aren't watching the Browns game, but there was a drive that they were actually driving down on the Bengals, and they were coming back after they scored 2 touchdowns. They were coming down driving, third and 5, and Kaiser puts it right on his face mask, and he drops it, and then he just lays on the ground, just looking up, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? And our defense is very young right now, so. You know, if they're unfit because all 3 and out, just rookie mistakes. It's what's killing us right now. We are getting number 1 overall pick back this week now, so we will be this in action this week. So that'll be a nice boost. At least that we can put some pressure on the quarterback, and I think this is such a Browns thing to do. Hank, Ricky, never mind. I'm not going to ask your take, Mr. Trash Can. Hank, give me something to go on here that I can feel good about my team.
The one thing that you can feel good about your team is that if there's only been 4 games, it's not like it's not like anyone expected you guys to be world beaters. And the fact of the matter is that the final thing that I can say that's positive about the Browns is the fact that they're probably not going to fire their head coach, Hugh Jackson.
Well,
I mean, I think they're giving Hugh Jackson like 4 or 5 years to figure this out.
Yeah, and I want to bring this up because this is a huge point. Rebuilding from the ground up is never easy, and normally that process can take up from. Well, it depends on how well you draft. If you draft really
It's a
good,
3-year plan.
yeah, that too. Like with the, I don't want to say like because the Cowboys were contenders theoretically for the division crown, but here's the thing: if you draft very well, you can go from like a mediocre team to a Super Bowl contender in like 3 to 2 years if everything goes according to plan.
Yeah.
If like you
But-
rebuild
but the
every part of your
issue-
team and you do it phenomenally like the Cowboys did, you can become a Super Bowl contender in like 4 years. However, with the Browns, the foundation, they're putting it down right now. So you got to give it time for that. Then when the foundation's down, then they just start putting key pieces together, and that's where you start seeing the 7 and 9, the 8 and 8s, the 9 and 7s, and then eventually because that's the thing with Cleveland. Cleveland has never had a solid foundation
Never.
when they came back into the NFL. So the thing is, what Hugh Jackson's doing right now, he's right now setting up the concrete for the foundation. Then if the Browns aren't retarded and they don't fire him, then what they're going to do is over time they're going to add more talented pieces, and eventually you're going to have a solid team that can end up not going like 5-11. 6-10, 7-9. Then eventually you're going to get into that winning season, and then hopefully that's if everything's trending upward. Which, in my opinion, it is. It's just record-wise, it's probably not going to show it.
The big issue is that the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the Cleveland Browns have brought in some of the greatest football minds to be head coaches of their team, and they've tried that. I mean, they basically rebuilt. Like, probably like 8 or 9 times since they became a team again. I mean.
No, more than that, buddy. More than that.
If you look at the names they brought in, I mean, Butch Davis was a great college football coach. I mean, and I'm not saying that he was a genius.
There's a key word, Hank. Key word. College.
No, and then Romeo Crennel. He was a great NFL defensive coordinator.
Yes,
you
he was.
had Mike Pettin, who was one of the best NFL defensive coordinators. Mike Holmgren
but not all good coordinators make a good head coach.
No, I know that, but
no, Hank, and I'm not trying to.
But what are
clarify.
the Cleveland Browns doing wrong? Is the question.
No,
they've done everything.
No, so here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. We have never been an attractive free agent team. So we have basically, because we fire our coaches every 1 to 2 years, there's no stability there, and that's where it all comes from. And just to piggyback on what Ricky was saying about the Dallas Cowboys and the foundation, the Browns are doing what the Dallas Cowboys did. They started with the offensive line. The Browns' offensive line is still one of the best offensive lines in football right now, and obviously one of the more highly paid offensive lines too. But that's where you start. You start at the line of scrimmage and build out. And, it's just going to take Deshaun Kaiser learning, and we're seeing the learning curve right now. It's just that's what it comes down to. But like you said, Ricky, another 2 years from now, if 2 years from now we haven't scratched the surface of a playoff berth, maybe just one game out of a wild card berth, I think Hugh might be in trouble.
No, I would say this. I mean, look, Hugh obviously had nothing to work with in his first season, so clearly that was a measuring stick to see, okay, what am I working with? Obviously, you're not working with anything. This season is, okay, I got some more talent. Let's see where we go from here. Now, let's say hypothetically you guys finish 3-13 or 4-12, hypothetically, okay? That's good improvement because you're showing that now the team is slightly getting better. Now it's just a matter of how does that translate into the following season, considering you have all that draft capital. And what's going on with Hugh Jackson is in previous administrations with the Browns, they have never set up a solid foundation. They finally have now. It's just a matter of, is the Cleveland management this retarded to fire Hugh Jackson while he's in rebuild mode? Because if they do, I don't know what happens.
Oh, dude, listen, if that happens, I would have to seriously – I might have to go down to the Browns center, in Berea, Ohio. I'd have to knock on the door. Hey, Jimmy, sell the team. Sell the team.
You gotta hope that someone good picks up the team. Okay, I think we've been talking on this topic for way too long. I want to get into our week picks.
So let's get to
But I
the picks.
appreciate that, guys. Thanks for talking about
Yeah,
that.
no worries.
No, because it's an important topic because
important.
it's like we don't know what's gonna happen with Cleveland. So I mean, okay, let's go ahead. So let's do a recap. So, unfortunately, DJ didn't tell me what his picks were, so I'm not gonna count them.
That's okay.
So yeah, so tough luck for you. So he's still at a 25-21 record. So as for me and Hank went 7-9 this week. Actually, me, Hank, and Josh went 7-9. So that was the best we did this week. No one got a winning record.
So why don't you just give me 7-9 then, and we'll just call it a wash.
Let's.
No, I'm kidding,
actually, I agree with that. Let's just do that.
Yeah, I'm just, I was joking. Obviously, I was.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
Okay. What would that put my record at 9-7?
You would be the same with Josh at 32-31. So like mediocre. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
So So who's winning right now? Give me the breakdown of the
me. Okay, I'm currently leading at 40-22. Hank's right behind me at 38-24, and you guys are tied 32-31.
Hey, it's a long season. Long season.
Okay, so let's go ahead.
I also thought the Tennessee Titans were playing this game at home, not in Houston. But don't change it.
It sounds like a personal problem.
It is a personal problem.
It's a you problem, not an I problem. No, but okay. So let's go through Week 5 picks. So Thursday Night Football, New England Patriots at Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ugh.
I'm gonna be honest. I think this is where the Patriots wake up. I think I'm gonna take New England this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. This just because what's happened in the past, I've had to think about this one and not just take the Patriots outright. But yeah, I'm still gonna take the Patriots. But I would imagine this is gonna be a very close game.
Yeah, I'll pick the Patriots. I'll pick the Patriots too. They usually rebound. I mean, they're gonna be.
I swear to God, if they start out 2-3,
they're going to be going into hostile territory. But I mean, I like Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know you can't. It's tough to bet against that guy.
Yeah.
All right, next game. Hank's favorite team takes on his other favorite team in the Arizona Cardinals. Philadelphia Eagles. I should have said EDP's favorite team because he always talks about the Cardinals.
I hate Bruce Arians. I've only picked the Eagles to win. I really do hate Bruce Arians. I wish I could punch him.
You might be one of the only people to hate Bruce Arians, so you could join them.
I
think
like
every
Bruce
Eagles
Arians
fan
either.
hates Bruce Arians.
I
don't like the Cardinals because they always beat us. But I picked the Eagles to win. I picked the Eagles to beat the Giants this season. Before the season, right when the preseason started, I also picked them to beat the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm gonna pick them to beat the Arizona, not because they're 3-1 and the Cardinals are 2-2, and I just picked that from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm taking Philly in this one. They're at home, and Arizona's a weaker team. I swear to God, if Philly loses to this Arizona team, I'm gonna laugh.
Guys, I'm sorry to say this, but Arizona's gonna go in and beat Philly.
Okay. I mean, I'm not expecting Philly to win this outright. I think it's going to be closer.
And here's the thing: I won't be surprised if the Eagles lose because they love.
I want to be surprised. All right, so next game, Tennessee at Miami. I'm gonna go.
Oh, give me Tennessee.
I'm gonna take Tennessee.
Please,
don't let me down, Tennessee.
I'm gonna take Tennessee.
We don't need Jay Cutler. Hopefully, Jay Cutler comes with a cigarette in his mouth.
Smoking Jay.
Yeah.
All right, next game. Oh my God. Okay, not this game. I was looking at the next one. New York Jets at Cleveland Browns. I think this is Cleveland. I swear to God, if Cleveland, I'm taking Cleveland again. But if Cleveland loses this game, I'm never taking them for the rest of the season.
Oh God. See, now this is what I'm so scared of because Hank, I sent you a text saying thank you so much for your continued support of the Cleveland Browns.
You know what? Just for the heck of it, I'm going to pick the Jets to win.
No! Just because you're from Jersey.
No, because I feel like because every time I picked the Browns to win, they lost. So I'm going to use reverse psychology.
I like that.
But if they lose,
too? I'm going to pick the Jets.
Oh, God, Hank, it's okay. I have to go with my team. They're going to wake up.
For the same reason.
Hold up, guys.
For the same reason.
I'm going Cleveland, and Duke Johnson Jr. is going to have a 3-touchdown game.
Hold up, guys. Give me 1 second because I have to charge my headphones.
Duke Johnson Jr., though, as a receiver, wow.
He's the next.
What do you think about that, Hank?
He's the next Joe Montana.
No, he's a receiver, homie.
I said Joe Montana.
Can you hear me?
I said Joe Montana.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yep. Hey, real quick, guys, before the next game, what do you guys think of Duke Johnson?
He's pretty. I like him.
Running back to receiver.
Alrighty. So here's the next game. Next game is you're taking. Who are you taking, DJ, for the New York Cleveland
He's
game?
taking the Browns.
Browns.
Yeah.
I'm going Browns.
Next game. Oh God. 49ers at Colts.
Oh wow. I was actually debating because I had to drop my defense, and I'm debating either taking the Colts defense or the Niners defense. I ended up taking the Niners defense, so I'm going to go with the Niners getting their first win of the season.
I'm going to take Indy.
I'm going to take Indy too.
Going Niners.
Wait, who's Hank picking?
I'm picking the Colts.
Colts, okay. It is harder to hear because I'm not using headphones.
Okay.
All right. Next game, Bills at Bengals.
Oh wow, these are tough ones.
I'm picking the Bungles.
I'm gonna take Cincy.
I'm going Buffalo here.
Okay. Yeah. Next game, Carolina at Detroit. This is gonna be a good one.
I still take Detroit.
Yeah, I'll take Detroit.
I'm gonna take Detroit. They're at home.
Yeah. Take the home team there.
Next game is Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. I'm gonna take upset. I'm gonna say Jacksonville.
Yeah, you're coming over to.
I picked Jacksonville to win last week and they lost. So, so who are you guys going with? Pittsburgh?
No, I'm going Jacksonville.
Okay. Oh God.
DJ's just gonna pick
Los Angeles Chargers at
week.
New York Giants. I'm gonna take the Giants in this one.
Ooh. Is this 2 0-4 teams?
Yes.
I know the Chargers are gonna win this game, but I'm gonna pick the Giants. The Giants have never won against Phillip Rivers.
So you're still picking the Giants?
Yeah.
Jesus, Hank! I swear to God, you must be wearing like giant blue under your Philly green. I swear to God.
I am. Hold on. I want you to see. Cause I haven't changed my shirt.
Oh, you're gonna go camera mode?
Do you see my shirt? It's blue.
I see your shirt. Nirvana.
It's blue. that was the point.
All right,
who you got,
DJ?
I'm going Chargers.
Okay. Now we're going into the primetime games. Hold up. Okay. My personal game of the week: Seattle at LA. Rams.
I'm going Rams.
I'm gonna take the
Ram
Rams.
it home, baby.
Come on, Todd.
So we're all taking the Rams.
Todd
I'll take. Yep, all Rams.
Next game: Baltimore at Oakland.
I gotta say Oakland.
Give me Oakland.
I'm picking the Ravens.
Wow, Josh loves you.
I know. The Ravens. No.
The Raiders. All right, next game. Actually, you could argue. Well, this is apparently America's game of the weekend. I think this is gonna be a fun one. Green Bay at Dallas. I'm gonna take Green Bay.
Whoa.
I'm gonna take Dallas.
I love you, babe. So wait, is Jordy? He's healthy, right?
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is out. Didn't Ty Montgomery have some broken ribs too?
I think he's out too.
Okay, I'm going Dallas.
Yeah, I'm picking Dallas because I have to.
Sunday Night Football. Actually, a good Sunday Night Football game. Kansas City at Houston.
Oh.
I'm taking Houston.
Oh.
Houston
think,
against
you know, against the game manager, Mr. Alex Smith, I have to go with my. He's going 5-0. He's going 5-0.
Is this in Houston?
Yes.
Ooh. Who am I gonna pick, Waffles? Who should I pick? Who should I pick? Should I pick the Chiefs or the Texans? Not if I should pick the Chiefs.
You're gonna take the Chiefs?
Not if I should pick the Texans. I'm picking the Texans.
Oh wow. Okay, I got
and
the
finally,
Chiefs.
Monday Night Football. Oh god, I can't believe this is a Monday night game.
Isn't it the
Minnesota
Vikings,
at
Bears?
Chicago. But keep in mind, Mitch Trubisky is starting his first game, so I'm gonna take the Bears.
Chicago. Give me some Chicago.
I'm gonna take some Chicago Super Die Hard.
We're all going Chi-Town. And that wraps up the Week 5 picks. I'll have to get Josh to tell me what his picks are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll make sure he sends them over.
Yeah, guys, that about wraps it up.
Who should you start, Wayne Gallman or Andre Holmes?
Okay, yeah, let's do that real quick. The starts, because I had a couple questions. I had one quick question.
Here. Oh, can I go first?
Yeah.
So, I would say start Cooper Kupp or Latavius. Well, Latavius Murray's obvious, but start Cooper Kupp and bench. What's his name? I'd say. Oh my God, I can't remember his name.
What team does he play
bench
for?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
I'm being serious.
No, but should you start Wayne Gallman or Andre Holmes?
I would start on
Yeah, I'd start Andre Holmes.
Andre Holmes.
Because Wayne Gallman is their third running back.
So
I would do Andre Holmes.
20-man league. Are you?
Holy.
All right, go DJ.
I'm at a crossroads right now with the Broncos defense. I have a bye. This is for the third league, and well, obviously for the league teams like the Broncos and both. So I have either pick up basically I narrowed down to the Colts defense or the Niners defense.
The Colts defense or the Niners defense. I'm gonna.
They're both playing each other.
I say you pick the Colts defense.
I would rather commit suicide.
I would rather eat my own poop. Poop.
Colts defense.
Yeah.
I would take the Colts. Perkins is hurt, and Goldman is supposed to be the starter according to.
And I have one more for my for the league here.
OG league.
So I have to choose between. Let's see. Frank Gore or Isaiah Crowell. I think Frank Gore is going to have a hell of a game coming back to San Francisco.
Isaiah Crowell.
Yep. They're playing the Jets.
Yeah.
And Gore's playing San Francisco.
Yeah. I'd choose Isaiah Crowell to start. All right, guys.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Before you go, wait. Before we wrap up, start Holmes because apparently Jordan Matthews is supposed to be out, so he's going to be starting in place of him.
Yeah. And Zay Jones hasn't done anything. All right, so I hope everyone had a good listen. We enjoyed bringing this to you, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week, and I hope you guys enjoy the week of football.
Oh yeah, guys! Thanks so much for listening. This was fun. This was a good one. I think we had a lot of good banter back and forth. And again, look us up on YouTube and look us up on SoundCloud. We're there. If you guys want to hear our podcast from previous times, if you just want to go back in the time machine, go check us out.
Alrighty.
All right, everyone have a good night.
Bye-bye.
See ya.